All right, guys, I think we're live. So I will check the audio in a second and we will start. First of all, thank you for your patience. It was a lot of time. It was probably 6 months or something of my absence here on YouTube on that channel, and there was a reason for that. Partially because of that reason, I started again. What that is an irony. The thing is that I've been working on an interesting project on trading, which is related to trading, and we did a lot of we made a lot of results, and finally we have some product which hopefully will be helpful and useful for all my audience, for all of you guys. But generally, in order to return to the space and in order to continue doing the same thing which I've done before, I'm starting these updates. I hope that they will be done on maybe like 3 times a week or something like that, or maybe daily, because I'm planning to do them really short, like 5 minutes max, 10 minutes max. And those will be just the crucial things happened in the crypto space, particularly with Bitcoin price, because we are concentrating our efforts, our attention on the technical analysis. So I will introduce more of my views, general views on what's happening with every new stream. But today, let's start and have a quick recap what happened and what to expect next. Basically, what is the general state of the market right now and where is it going? So, first of all, guys, we are at $20,000 price. And people didn't believe that we will be there because it was 68, it was even like 40 or 50, and people say that, okay, we're going to the moon. Still, it's not a bear market. We will be 100,000, 300,000, and so on. And if you remember, especially those who follow Twitter and Telegram, I've been saying already here that, well, it's actually already too much, and we probably are due to go to much lower price. And that drop was the particular confirmation of that thing. Eventually, we made even a higher high, but that higher high wasn't really a big thing because it was a false breakout and was closed. The whole growth was closed by 100%, which is just a confirmation of the fact that we are not in a bull trend. And all the altcoins dropped by 80% or even more. So there's no surprise that we're in the point where where we are now. So the most important statement right now is that yes, we're in a bear market. What happens in a bear market is that it develops at some point, it stops, and then we have the continuation of the new accumulation phase. As soon as the asset is not going to die, then eventually after the accumulation phase, the new bull market starts. That happened several times before with Bitcoin and of course with different assets as well, and that is what we're going to see very, very soon. Well, what I mean soon is not tomorrow or next month, but with respect to the history of Bitcoin and all the other assets, it's not that far in history, actually, and not that far in future. But my estimation still is that the bear market is not over, and the current point, although it's very promising to be at least as a point of a certain stopover of maybe even start of the correction of that whole drop somewhere here or whatever. I will tell about it later. But in any case, that is the potential, just the potential turning point. And I still believe that it's more likely that we'll continue to go down after that, eventually after the correction, but probably. And then the general point of the end of that bear market, at least levels where I would expect, from the conservative point of view, where I would expect that bear market would be over, is somewhere around. So I'll show you somewhere here. I had those exact price levels, somewhere around $10,000 to $15,000. So yes, those basically the levels. And the area of previous accumulation is between $6,000 to $15,000, and that is probably the area where the price stops falling, or maybe it doesn't go even there, somewhere like $15,000 or somewhere around there, and we will go up eventually. But of course, the accumulation period is required before that. But not necessarily will stop there, of course. We are just trading probabilities. Those are conservative levels. So $10,000, $12,000 and so on. Also, I can show you something which I posted a long time ago, but generally it still remains valid. Those cycles on BTC based on just certain periods of growth and drop, certain phases like bear phase and bull phase, accumulation phase and distribution phase, and those are represented like those kind of triangles. Of course, this time is a little bit different, but still the trend is pretty much the same. So the fractal kind of is the same. And based on that math, you can say that we probably should drop somewhat like $12.5 thousand. That would be the end of the drop. And even in terms of the time, like that period is very, very similar to what we had so far. And eventually that is probably end of this year. So end of this year, we might see the ultimate low for this cycle. And of course, nothing set in stone. So eventually we may see something like that after a few months, or even maybe half a year to year period. And that would be a retest of the bottom. Still, that is probably the point where we will get kind of accumulation zone. And eventually after that, we will see the bulls going back. So that is more general point of view. So what is happening in terms of the long-term picture. And short-term, I was going to show you this. So we had consecutive drops from 68, from 44, and from 32. And those are kind of waves which are going lower and lower and lower. And every time we had accumulation area, or actually redistribution, or second and third order distribution areas. And after we break that distribution, we had the new wave of the downturn. And that is another breakout. So currently we are still in the similar, very similar distribution area or potentially accumulation area. In any case, this is a consolidation, and the width of this consolidation is pretty similar in the absolute terms, and even the duration of this consolidation is still not that long. So here we had actually more than 2 months, and then we had like a month or something, and currently we're still maybe less than 3 weeks of this consolidation. So the general idea is that we will continue to consolidate within this area until we'll see the breakout. And that is the potential trade towards the direction of this breakout. Maybe it will be like that. So again, we can take short here. The point is, of course, there could be a false breakout. So it could be like this. That's why you need your stop orders, or like this as well. But in my point of view, what I think will happen is that as soon as we see that huge volume happening, and as soon as we dropped so far without major corrections, as you can see here, almost no corrective moves, just pretty much the same as here, was no corrections. We just going up and up and up. We were going like that, and that led to 50% drop. So the same thing, but with the opposite sign, is happening right now. We are seeing those drops without corrections, and eventually what will it lead to is that we'll see the correction. I would say that it is not crazy to expect that from here, if the correction happens, we will see the price around $28,000 because this is the bottom of the previous distribution zone. Another target, if we'll go above that distribution zone, is around $37,000. This is the bottom of that zone, and I don't think that it's likely that we're going anywhere above that area. So I would say those are conservative values, and of course we need to look at the signs of the periods where we can see some divergences, for example, signs of the end of the local trend where the rise can be switched to the drop, to the decline. That is the main point, like locally, which we should look at and which we should spot in order to flip our trades. In any case, the expectations are like that, and it's pretty simple in terms of how to trade it. So basically, if we go up, let's trade like this with the bottom, with the low here, and set a stop order like that, and vice versa. Of course, there might be that there is no test like this, there is no retest, and then the price goes like directly down like here, or it goes directly up. It's also possible, but there is another strategy which you can basically trade this drop with a stop here. It's a little bit riskier, so it depends on your trading profile, which you prefer to do here, but it's still pretty simple. And another thing, that altcoins are pretty much following BTC right now, and there is almost no point to consider them being stronger than BTC or in fact weaker as well, because they are still going higher than BTC as soon as Bitcoin is showing any signs of being alive. So basically we need to consider what happens with BTC in order to apply our trades with alts. I don't think that it's actually reasonable to do altcoins trading right now. And the final thought which I would like to share is that we of course have to take care and look carefully at the stock market. And of course that is the drop which we see recently, and that is the reason that we also see the same drop on BTC, because in Bitcoin, because low liquidity, high risk assets like cryptocurrencies, they follow high liquidity and lower risk assets like indices, like equities. And that is the potential threat here, because we might see the continuation of that decline with the American stock market. So we don't know what happens with that, but we can expect some certain things. And I would think that, again, certain correction with all that drop happen without corrections is also very likely to happen. We may consider like a major drop to the very, very low levels, and that would lead to BTC going down as well. But that's why, again, I repeat, that's why we need our stop orders. So next video, next stream, I will probably we'll do some more local view on that point, what's happening, what to expect with a local channel, sideways channel, or maybe potential breakdown and breakout, and so on and so forth. But for today, I think it's good enough. So I hope that you will follow and wait for new videos. I promise I will do that right now, because again, I finished that work which didn't let me to do my normal posting, normal video recording, and now I'm kind of free about that. And oh, I see some comments here, but those guys are pretty much from the people from my Russian channel. So thank you very much for watching. So at least I have some audience here. I appreciate that. And one guy is saying in Japanese, "Minasan daijoubu, daijoubu da yo." So even in Japanese. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I believe that you will see that in the offline mode when I stop recording. And that is it for today. It still took 15 minutes, yeah. So I will do much faster next time. See you maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Have a great trading. Goodbye.